Good morning and welcome to the Opportunistic Trader for Thursday, August 9th. I hope everybody had a good night. Welcome back. I'm joined with Vince as always. We're going to go over the trades from yesterday and the action from yesterday and then the overnight and get the setup for today, which hopefully will be a little bit more exciting than yesterday. The only trade that really stood out, which had a huge move, was a crude oil, which was down about 4% on the day. That was one of our trades that did not work out too well. We are still holding on. We're going to probably look to hedge with some upside calls. We have a stop out in there at 66.20. Holding long here, not feeling strong. Yesterday, we traded that into the number. We did that because we were short S&Ps, and we felt that if the number was weak and oil was weak for the day, that the S&P would trade heavy, but obviously that didn't work out too well. The other trade that we did was in NASDAQ. We came in overnight short. Market went about $20 lower. We covered that down about $17. So we're still in the S&P 55 call versus short the S&P. We need to move down to 52 area to start to be profitable on that trade, but that trade will be called away tomorrow on the close if the market is above 55. But it gives us an easy way for people to, be short the market with a defined hedge. So that's how we're looking at that. And yesterday gold was kind of choppy. It was heavy, and then it started to trade a little bit more firm. Currencies have been, back and forth, around the same areas. 116 in the euro. Today on tap at 8:30, we have jobless claims looking for 220. Don't think it's market moving, but obviously we'll keep an eye on it. The number that I think could be market moving is the PPI. They're looking for down 0.2. So we will keep an eye on that as well. And at 1 o'clock, a little bit of a wild card might be Fed Evans speaking, on the economy. Don't expect much, but we'll keep our eye on that. And I'll throw it off to Vince to discuss the overnight action.
Hey guys, thank you, Larry. Good morning. There's a lot of little stuff to bring up, so we're gonna skip a lot of little stuff and just insert this comment. The audience, we have a combined audience of experts, people that really know what they're doing, professional traders, and people that want to learn. And so, the point of this broadcast, as Larry was, reminding me off air, is that we want everyone to be comfortable. So, those who don't know the numbers, those who already can get the numbers anywhere they want, fine. But get them here because you're going to get the, insights from Larry. Those who don't understand some of the insights, come here and learn the numbers first. We want this to be a place that is going to be helpful to everyone. And so one-stop shopping, so to speak. Moving on from that. Okay, wrapping around the globe quickly. Asia. China stocks are a little bit firmer. There's a perception that some relief is coming. I don't know where or how, but that's the word. The yuan is a little bit stronger. That helps Chinese stocks. Japanese stocks are a little bit softer. In Europe, stocks are mixed to lower as the Italian bond market seems to have Europe in like a deer in headlights. But I really think that Europe is waiting. All eyes are on, even those deer in the headlights eyes are on the U.S. We may not react. Our markets may not react violently, but for some reason, the Fed says something here and something happens in Indonesia to the stock market. Who knows? But 8:30 jobless claims, 8:30 PPI, and 1 p.m., as Larry said, wild card. Charles Evans speaks. Little editorial comment. There are different types of Fed governors, members. Some of them are academics and just stick to the globalist agenda. Some, which means, in my opinion, they are Kool-Aid drinkers. Doesn't mean they're wrong, but they just stick to the dogma. Some people understand markets. Charles Evans does understand markets, so he's usually a little bit more careful with words, I believe. Looking at the markets and the trades themselves yesterday, those new to the site who see a 2% move in crude and say, hey, were you guys short or long? A lot of us are swing traders. And a lot of people, professional traders like to be flat going into a number if they can, because those are the coin flip moments. We look for asymmetric opportunities, and when a number comes out, we look to trade after the number. So what we have on right now, or what Larry has on right now, is an example of that, I believe. In metals, for example, I've been noticing the last 4 days, we've been catching bids at night. Starting last Thursday, platinum was being bought in a platinum gold spread. And yesterday, Greg bought some gold, took a little bit of profit there. And I bought some copper on the back of the platinum being bought. And this is all because info that you're not going to get anywhere else. There is some fundamental buying underneath in silver coming out of China. That's bizarre. That's a gold country, not a silver country. Getting off of those particulars and back to the generals, the stock market is near all-time highs. Oil, one of the few commodities that actually acts on its fundamentals, while at the same time being a global product. We have heightened tensions, think now with Russia, because of our own potential sanctions against them. It looks like United States policy is slowly getting its way, and obviously there's problems in Turkey. I'm a little bit all over the place, but we're looking at oils up slightly off of the lows. Natural gas, after having a nice day yesterday, is unch. The 10-year, nowhere really. Metals are up, but watch for them to be sold in the first couple hours. It's like bought in China, sold in America. And grains, I don't have them here right now, but I think you need to watch and listen to Angie, and you need to pay attention to the seasonality, as well as the fact that China is going to be importing more soy from the U.S., as reported on the site by our own experts, despite the trade tariffs. And that's because the exporter Latin American countries can't meet the demand because they have to sell to their own people or they'll starve. That said, it's 8:08. I think hopefully we're on schedule. Larry, you want to discuss a trade yesterday?
Basically, it was a very, very slow day all around. S&P in general, if you were involved in it, was trading a bit lower early on and firm through the day. Actually was on the highs, basically coming into the close above 60, trading around 61.5, 62. Jeff Frankel, who covers us on the New York Stock Exchange floor, gives us imbalances and looks, and he was kind enough to provide looks across the board in every sector, from energy, financials, materials, and on our site, he came with those imbalances. It showed to buy. Interestingly enough, about 3 minutes before the close, most of that paired off. There was close to $1 billion to buy. It paired at the end of the day to about 200 to buy. And as we came into the close, they sold the cash off, and then they sold the futures off even more, putting us at a discount of about $2.50 to fair value. And then on the reopen at about 4:30, market came in lower about another $2.50. So these are not significant moves, but when you look at volatility, unfortunately, it's trading in the 10 handle, which is shocking again to me. And last night, the S&P opened through the low of the day, which usually is kind of bearish, but the market shrugged it off, is flattish. It's up a couple, but really it's at fair value. Europe was an interesting trade. Looking at it last night, it was lower, then higher, and then back lower. So that was a good trade, to be in, because the market had a lot of movement, sort of in a defined range, which is really good for what we do here. We're a little bit counter trend, day trading, looking for, to pick up, positive P&L along the way.
Larry,
Yes.
I don't want to interrupt too much, but I think your comment about Europe, it's absolutely what we look for when you consider the fact that why is Europe such potentially a trading opportunity right now? Because the Italian bonds created emotional, non-rational roller coaster, and that creates opportunities for people like us, which is exactly what's happening.
For sure. Yesterday, we looked at oil. We bought a little oil a little bit too early, but we were utilizing that as a hedge against our S&P. It really didn't work. These correlated trades are very, very tough, and especially in the dead of summer. So, we're keeping an eye on that. And, overall, the big mover, and I think everybody's involved in it, is oil. I mean, everyone I speak to, on the trading side is trading oil. Even guys that only traded S&P or equity markets are involved in oil. So everybody's there because it's a really good mover. It's moving percents a day. And, that's a good place for us to frequent and try to make money for our, help our members learn and make money.
What about, I want to make a comment about Bitcoin if I could. Bad segue, but you get my point. Everybody's talking about the Bitcoin sell-off recently, and these are trading vehicles to us, not investment vehicles, at least something we would talk about here. One of the things that you should pay close attention to, especially if you're an individual investor, is that Bitcoin is now a sell-side product, and that means when they said they were going to list it as a future, it rallied, and it rallied because of expected anticipation. And then when it became a future, it sold off. And then when they announced it was going to become an ETF, it rallied. And now there's ETF trouble, it sold off. So a lot of this is sell-side analysts. Now, you may not understand that phrase if you're not a pro, but basically it's marketers, not being derisive, but marketers are preparing for an interesting market. And when that doesn't materialize, anyone who's punting long, expecting the market to go up when the ETF is listed, has to sell off. So, Bitcoin is relatively flat today, but it's something that everyone is trading, not necessarily something that we would be investing in.
An interesting point, getting to Bitcoin, and, you're mentioning, the market rallied when they, listed it on the CME, and, what's really happened in Bitcoin. There's really, believe it or not, when they listed this future, which the CBOE and the CME rushed to list it, they were expecting volume, unbelievable volume. It is the most lackluster product, that they've listed in years. It doesn't trade. Nobody's trading it. It seems like before it was listed, it was easy to manipulate the prices higher because there were no sellers. Nobody wanted to sell because you couldn't sell short, and B, people thought this was going to levels that 50,000, 100, numbers that were ridiculous. Now they're realizing that you have to allow short selling. Short selling is basically the most important thing in markets to even have them go higher, because you have to have people that have the ability to get their opinion on. So, the product hasn't taken off. My opinion on it, and our crypto guys' opinion at this point, is that other than the 2 or 3 top, coins, to stay away. The ICO market, there's been like 70 coins in the last month that have gone to literal zero. I've watched a coin go from $11 to $2 in 2 weeks, which is shocking to me. So, on the Bitcoin front, the guys at Hedge and other people on the site are providing insight into, thoughts on Bitcoin, which I think are important, especially if you're trading. But to your point, it is a great day trading vehicle.
Right,
They
and
move.
we're happy that we onboarded, and I might be mispronouncing names here, but I believe it's Michelle Dada on our crypto page, who's giving tremendous education as well as perspective on trade ideas, and thought I knew what I was talking about. This guy knows more when it comes to this type of stuff with this girl. I'm not really sure, but
For sure.
we haven't. But I strongly recommend experts as well as retail clientele that are new to trading. Ask away, because these guys know their stuff over there.
For sure. And Tyler Jenks, who's a very respected name in the crypto community as well as the equity community, will be joining the site to provide insight on a daily basis. And you'll find him in the crypto room as well as the equity room. So he will be joining us probably within a week. So we're excited about that as well. Looking at other markets across the board, Greg, our FX expert, will be on in about 25 minutes to discuss the foreign currency markets and all the insight there. So I really don't want to touch on that. But overall, again, bonds are a little bit firmer coming into the number. They seem to be stuck around the 295 area on the 10-year note. Again, not making trades in there until we get above 3. If we hit 3, a little over 3, we might look to short it. Equities are a bit firmer. S&P, again, is a little deceptive because it's at a $2.50 discount. So I call it flat. And the NASDAQ is just up about $1.50, but slightly lower to premium. And overall, looks like a very, very quiet day. It's not an option expiration day. Today it's a Thursday. So the straddle, is not really indicative of today's move, but it's a 2-day move. And, it's pricing in under 1% for 2 days, which is a little bit disheartening, but we can work around that and come up with some very vanilla ideas to make money in the S&P option market.
Right, and staying with the equity market, every day that Elon Musk does not fork over an 8K, and that's basically a form showing secured discussions with investors, is a day that the SEC moves further towards questioning him. And Tesla, I mentioned a day or two ago that there were allegedly some convertible bonds, some convertible debt struck at about 359 or 350 and 360. Those went in the money when he made his statement. And since then, the market has been slowly backing off until he produces something. Who knows what's going to happen there, but that could weigh on investor confidence. But as you said, the markets are moving sideways right now. Probably those who only people trading right now are people who have to trade, not people who want to trade. People who want to trade will trade probably after the number. On a comment on Greg, I bought copper yesterday on my whole metals yuan observation. He bought gold, and I almost reversed out of copper and bought silver on his trading because he does know FX pairs better than I do. And but I stuck with it. Got lucky. We could have a bigger move higher, but I'm not going to play on it. We hit our goal, and especially with the number coming out, I want to be flat.
Great. I think we've covered pretty much everything. I see oil ticking up a little bit. It's slightly positive. It just moved up about 15 cents quickly. So we'll keep an eye on that. And I think we covered everything for this morning. And we'll be back to you at 8:45 with with Greg talking FX after the number, and then we'll come to you again slightly before the opening to set us up for today's trades.
Cool. Thank you.